Hi everyone, this is Zain Ul Hassan, a data analyst by profession and a cricket analyst by passion. So, after years of crunching numbers behind the scene, from logistic dashboards to cricket scorecards, I'm finally buckling up and mustering up the courage to analyze this beautiful game that we love. So, this is the first ever video on this channel, and you can say it's the beginning of what I'm calling a data driven journey through the heart of the sport. Uh, Today's topic is like how the test cricket is shrinking day by day. I'm just talking about the number of draws, the frequency of them, while we compare them back in the 90s or 2000 or the 80s. Their frequency of draw test matches has significantly dropped. So that is something that we will be looking into, like what's the main reason behind this. So why is test cricket getting shorter? Let's dive into the numbers and the story they are trying to tell. First thing first, test cricket is getting shorter, not in stature, first of all, that I wanted to clear, but in the length. If we only consider the recently concluded 2025 final of the World Test Championship that was held in Lords, it is a pure indication that this game is evolving rapidly. And there are few particular reasons behind it. First one is the commercial reason, okay, because ICC wants to sell test cricket. So that's why they have come up with this plan, and they are directly interfering with the home boards to prepare such kind of pitches that can produce outright results. Second one is structural. For example, since the introduction of World Test Championship cycles, there is a structural uh, you know connotation behind it that test cricket needs to be shorter and shorter to get more results so that we can accommodate different teams in the points table. Okay. And the third one is strategic. So first thing first, let the numbers speak. The decline of the test match durability. If we see from early 2000s, we saw batting friendly pitches, very fat averages for the batters, long innings, a marathon sort of innings. For example, Sachin Tendulkar's 241 marathon that he scored without even a cover drive. There were a lot of drawn test matches at that time. Almost all the matches were going into the fifth day, and it was a norm over at that time, norm over there. But that era is gone way behind now. Let's look at the transformation through the numbers. First thing first, okay. So if we look into the test cricket's credentials in the 21st century, we will see that the batting average has gone pretty much low, okay, because in 2000 till 2007 and 8 it was like 31, then 30.5, then 30.33. At one point it was 33, at one point it was 31 in 2005, then 32, and then what peaked in 2009 as 35. So that fat averages at that time were the norm, okay, and no one would say any word that there is a flat pitch that people are playing on. These batters are having a paradise sort of condition for them. No one used to tell that, because there was only one point of playing test cricket for the sake of playing test cricket, that was there. But now, since the introduction of the tournament and the points table, people are going towards winning the match and then ultimately winning the trophy. Obviously, if we see as the ball faced at that time, we can see like 90,000 balls were bowled at that time, okay, and then in 2000, and then this increased to 110,000 balls, and now comparing it with the 2025, it's 18,456 balls. Even though it's like half of the year, but still, if we look into 24, it was 87,292 balls. So it means that balls test matches are getting shorter. To see in an other perspective, we can see the average balls per test match. Okay, so for that regard, if we see in 2000 there were around 1970 balls per test match, which peaked in 2004 and it was 2153 balls per test match, which after that has now gone down to 1538 balls per test match, which means that none of the test matches are going into the fifth day. They are normally ending in the 3 days or the 4 days. And if we see at the batting as well, at that time, considering only the strike rate, people used to score the marathon innings like 200 balls, 50, and batted for around 6 hours just to make 70 odd or 80 odd runs. At that time, per 100 balls, we're seeing around 42.4 strike rate for the batter, which in 2025 has gone up to 56. That is some increase, because players are now looking to score quicker runs rather than the long marathon sort of runs and innings. And then if we see as the balls per wicket, like which is the equivalent to bowling strike rate, at that time it was around 64 in 2000, which peaked in 2003 as 68 balls. And now since then, over the course of the time period, if we compare it with today's average per balls for a wicket for a bowler, it's now 45.91 deliveries. Every 46th delivery is seeing a wicket in test cricket in these days. Before it was around after 11 overs, now it's after 7.5 overs. So what we can conclude from the last table, that in 2025, batters are dismissed every 46 balls, down from 68 in the 2000s. There's a 33% decline in that. So it means people are like not bothering for their wicket, they are just looking for the runs even in the test cricket. With the advent of the T20 cricket, this thing has been in the intrinsic values of the batter, that I need to score runs at the end of the day. It's just the runs that matter. So batting averages are also falling behind, but strike rates are rising up, which shows that people are like scoring quick runs. And then if we see only the test matches, like balls per test matches, we will get to know that there are a few other things that we can understand. So now if we see the year-wise credentials in test cricket, just the average balls per test match, you can see that there is a decline after 2014. There is still few more like bigger and taller bars out there, but it's still a decline for really positive reason. And since 2020 it has been declining every year. 2022 it was 1867, which has now dropped down to 1538. That's one thing that I wanted to show to you guys. Now if we talk about 2019 to 2025 era of engineered excitement, this is a time when World Test Championship cycle started. So since that time, home birds have, as I told you, have pivoted around going at the opposition a little bit more aggressively, repelling the result-oriented pitches, which includes then reducing the buffer time for the batters, like come and start hitting from the day one, from the word go, and then rewarding that aggression in a positive manner. If we just break this cycle the way we broke it the other time, if we just see it, you will get to know that there are few other things which are like very important in it. So this is all World Test Championship credentials. First of all, you can see the average. In 2009 and 21, the first cycle, it was around 30.63, which in 2021 to 23 dropped to 30.47, and in the last one it was around 29. So that shows like how averages are getting dropped. Strike rate of batting has obviously gone above the expectation, and then the bowling has also come down from 57 to solid 47 that we discussed earlier as well. And then the average balls per test match, before in first cycle it was around 1855 balls, then which also remained surprisingly 1855 in the second cycle, but now has gone down significantly, and then it is 1637 balls per test match. The draw percentage started in the first cycle was 13%. Now it has, and then the second cycle was 17%, and now it has dropped down to 5.71. Just the four draws in this cycle that we are like just concluded in shape of South Africa as the winners. So this, if we consider ICC's trade-off between balance and then what you say blockbuster, this isn't just an evolution, it's calculated engineering. The ICC World Test Championship format rewards win, not the resilience, as we discussed. It's the result that matters, not the runs. So spicy seeming or deteriorating pitches that barely last for 4 days, they are preparing that. And then early declarations, calculated risk. It's the main point and the main beauty, you can say the concurrent beauty of this format since the advent of World Championship cycle. So this is pretty much a style of play which suits both batters and bowlers. Before it was just the batters. Bowlers used to like bowl 200 215 overs per inning and then ended up getting nothing but the batters strike rate, batters runs in the 300s and 400s. This is now slowly burning out that particular thing now these days. We see at the historical data of the test cricket decade wise, we would see that test cricket has always changed its colors. In 20s and 30s till 1910s, the pitches were not covered by the end of the day, so they were used to be more bowling friendly because they got wear and tear easily. And then this happened till 1920s and late 20s, and then once the 1930s started, the ground staff started to cover the pitches, so which in other ways supported the batting more friendly. Since then you can see there is a hike in a lot of so this is the decade wise. Once you see that test cricket's credential decade wise, average batting at that time in the 70s, 80s and 90s, I'm talking about the 19th century, it was like nearly around moving around 15 to 25. But when this was the time when they started covering up the pitches by the end of the play. So since then there is an increase, 35, 32, 35, and then in the 50s it was 28, again dropped, but since then it was increasing like that. And now in this decade it's now decreasing again. Okay, in the last decade it was 32, and in the 2000 it was 34 balls per wicket. Again in 90s it was 66, then in the 2000s it was 63, then in the 2010s it got dropped to 60, and now it has gone down to 54 as well. So the strike rate has now dropped, like it has increased particularly now from 38 in the 2000 to 55 now. Balls per test match, you can see here in 90s it was 2400 balls per test match, sorry 1960s, which in 70s was 2255 balls per test match, which till 2010s was in 1953 balls, and in 2000 it was 1974. Now it has gone down to 1700 something. There is a peak of getting draw matches. See, there is a, you can say a hill sort of thing. When the wickets were bowling friendly, there were less draws and the more outright results. And when there was no competition between bat and ball, and it was all about batting, there were nearly around 50% of the matches were used to get draw. And since then, in 2010, it started decreasing in 2000 because people got to know about the perfect template of a test cricket. That's why they used to declare the innings more often at that time after scoring the very big runs. Since then it's decreasing, and now in this decade it has gone down to 12.5%, which you can see. If we just consider the final that was just concluded, we can see that there were fewer balls, higher stakes, faster games, and the transformation that one could easily be, noticed with the naked eye and a little bit of knowledge of the cricket and its nuances. It lasted only for the 1700 balls, the shortest World Cup final till date, though. South Africa chased down 282 again. That was the fourth highest chase in the England. And then the Rabada forced 51 false shot in the 2002 202 deliveries, which after like he was inducing a false shot after every four balls, and then Mark Rams that inning of 136 against the peak Cummins and Hazelwood, who were like having time of their life in the first innings, having inducing those false shots after only three balls in the first inning. But in the second inning, Mark Ram neutralized them like none other. And now, if someone asks you in these days, where have all the big hundreds gone? So you just have to tell them that the batting of today is not worse. They are just playing the different game. We won't see Sachin's 241 as I discussed, or Lara's 400, or Chris Gale's triple centuries, or Vrinder Sehwag's Multan ke Sultan wali inning. We will not be seeing that. Why? Because there is no room for 10,000 marathon. Sorry, 10-hour marathon, or 500 ball century, or no pitch lets you bat for the 200 over these days. That's for sure thing. And bowlers are striking too fast, and captains are pushing quicker results. So, and plus, as I told you, ICC has now decided that they will be selling Test cricket uh, out of their skin. They need to sell it with the advent of T20 cricket, and every month, like there is hardly any week which is free for the international cricket, because there is a T20 league happening every other day in one particular part of the world. So this is the age of the controlled 20s, not those marathons at a strike rate of 100 and not 50s at a strike rate of 45. You will be seeing more players like Jasprit Bumrah, Pat Cummins, Kagiso Rabada, Josh Hazlewood, Mitchell Stark, but not like Sachin Tendulkar of that time, Ricky Ponting of that time, Brian Lara, who were just putting and compiling up the runs like for fun at that time, because it was easy to bat for 200 overs back in the day. So, final word, if we need to like just be concluding whole of this statement, that we aren't witnessing the death of the Test cricket now, is the repacking of the Test cricket. This is a new world order for the Test cricket. More thrilling, it is definitely. More strategic, we can have a debate about that. More watchable, 100% yes, because if we are going to watch a Test cricket and we know that in South Africa it can end into the 3 days, or even it can end in 3 days, or even in 2 days in the most case, I will be buying the ticket, like I will be the first one staying in the queue to get the ticket. And then more watchable, as I told, it's just more fragile without a doubt. This is Test Cricket 2.0, faster, sharper, more ruthless. There's no space for betting epics in this. No room for the long game. Every delivery matters. So when someone asks you, why don't we see Tendulkar like patience, or Callis like averages, or Sangakkara like 58, 59 averages, just tell them it's not the same game anymore, bro. And thank you for staying with us. I hope you enjoyed what I just presented. It was so hot outside. I'm staying in another room at the moment because there were a lot of people in my room, but I had a promise with you guys that I will be sharing it by today, so I am just recording it as I am right now, and I'm like taking a shower in my sweat. Thank you, brothers. Have a great day. Bye.